Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So this is race 3 from our second ever community meeting, and well, this was one to remember. I've had a bad few races, so I really wanted to kind of make up for, lost time. Not had a podium since I believe like race 1, so the first ever one we did in meeting 1. So we went to Blue Moon Speedway with a nice mix of really high speed and some mid sections that are really kind of low speed. So sit back, enjoy as we head out to Blue Moon Speedway infield. So we've got Jody leading the way, followed by Nick in the McLaren. There's an Aston Martin of Vinny in third. Kefim's going to be using his Dragon Ball Z Supra in fourth, and Dion, he's going to be using the GT500 R34 Skyline GTR in fifth. So the race gets underway, and it's looking like Nick is looking for the inside line to overtake Jody. A bit of contact there. Vinny also getting involved, so lots of pushing and shoving into the first corner. Looking like Vinny's got the inside line there to cover Jody off as we go into this really awkward but quite quick left-hander, and there's absolute carnage erupting. That's McJiggle, he's off, and he is, and again, so huge carnage going off in the background there. So we'll look deeper, and Vinny going off again, so that's gutting for him as he was really quite up there in P2 as that corner started. So we'll have a look at that in the highlights. Kefim, he is now in P9, and myself, well, I'm in P10, and well, cancel that. Kefim's now P10 as I managed to get the move done on him. He's not going to fight it too much. He's going to try and go outside, but it's not going to work out for him. So yeah, a bit gutting really, a massive change up to the order. So Nick still leads, followed by Jody, so they both managed to get through the carnage pretty much unscathed. Kyle Gubb, he's up in P3 by the look of it, just behind Jody in the seriously fast straight line speed of the Porsche. He's nicely in P3, awesome looking livery as well. In the Wins Ford GT, awesome to see this car enter this event, is Kayan Peaky Blinder in the Supra again, followed by Ocho in the other Supra, both making appearances at Monza in the previous race. So awesome to see them back. Dion, he's P7 in the Nissan Skyline, so he's dropped back a little bit. However, he's having a much better run so far than he did in the previous race. Archangel, he's P8, followed closely by myself in P9. Kefim, he is still P10 in the GT500 Super. Jace, he's quite far back this time. He's in the BMW M6, followed by McJiggle 420. Going off in the Haas, losing a position to Raddy, also in the BRZ, so two BRZs there. Vinny Bear, he's in the Aston Martin GT3, not the GT1 model this time. He is P13 now, so he's moved up past McJiggle. McJiggle losing 2 spots there. Jay Vanderberg, he's in the standard liveried Castrol Supra in P15, and Feathers, well, he's sort of just cruising around on his own in P16 in the Genesis, so nice to see that enter the race for a first ever time. Peaky Blinder now up into the lead, as well as Ocho, so both Supras making some insane moves there to really kind of move up. So they've gone from what I believe like maybe 4th, 5th or 6th up to P1 and 2 respectively within a single lap. So now Peaky Blinder really stretching his legs. Ocho second, chased down by Kayan in the awesome looking wind liveried Ford GT. He's closing in quick, as well as Cal Gubb is in P4, quite closely on the back of that little train. There's more accidents going off there by the look of it, someone running wide. Myself, I'm now up to P5. I've cleared Archangel, cleared Dion, and Nick, he is now down in P8, so that's a bit of a shame really. So Archangel P6, Dion's P6 now, pushing his way through in the Skyline, so he's maintaining that sort of just front of the pack, middle of the pack position as Nick goes for a move there, running wide into Archangel. Kefim getting through, Archangel getting through, Jace getting through, Jody looking like she's also going to get through on the rundown. Is she? She is. She is now clear in that pink liveried Supra. Vinny getting caught up. He's on a recovery drive, obviously, after having a what looked like a double off early on. Jay Vanderberg, he's pretty much on his own still in P13. McJiggle now down in P14, really not having a great start to this race. And Feathers, he's just cruising around, got a lot of time to make up, so he'll be disappointing to be all the way down the grid, as Peaky Blinders is absolutely flying, chased by the Ford GT of KN 105. So both of them on a charge. It's looking like cars dropped out there. So we've got KN P2, so that's Ocho that's gone from that pack. So yeah, I mean, pretty crazy. I don't know where he's gone. So Cowgub now P3, myself P4. Definitely on a bit of recovery after getting caught up in that lap 1 incident. Dion, he is P5, so he is maintaining his position as he's going clear of Archangel now in P6. Again, another standard Tom's livery for the Supra. Jace P7, he's definitely having a bit of a charge up the grid. He is now past Raddy and Kefim. He's well on his way as Raddy's looking to fight back, but I don't think he'll quite have the pace of the M6. That looks like Jody in the barrier up there. She was saying she wasn't having the best round at all. She really just couldn't get to grips with this track. So Nick again now down in P11 after starting, well, getting himself up to first for the first lap. So both Jody and Nick dropping down the order. McJiggle is now up past Jody. He's in P13. He's going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to try and get back in this race. You can see he's quite off the rest of the pack. Feathers, he is still kind of cruising around at the back, almost being lapped by this guy. Peaky Blinder with an absolute flyer of a race, really kind of pulling a gap to the Ford GT as we get to about the third of the way through the race. Kayan, he's being chased down by Cowgub, but it's looking like he might have that one covered off. The Porsche very quick, but running a bit funny through there. If you ask me, myself, I'm trying to close up the gap to Cal and try and get myself on the podium as I'm running P4 in the only Corvette to take part in this race with that awesome black Callaway livery from the money guide that I did with that car. Dion, he is P5, pretty much in a race of his own, clear of everyone really behind him, but not quite got the pace to catch up with myself. Raddy, he is P6. He's in a little battle here with Archangel. He needs to get a move on if he wants to place well in this race. So still a pretty good showing for him. He didn't have the best of rounds at Monza, but he's looking to redeem himself here. Archangel having a pretty good race. Middle of the pack. Vinny on his charge up the grid now P8 in the Aston Martin GT3. So awesome to see him back in this race. He's doing rather well for himself. Kefim just behind, not having a great race this time sadly. Jace now in P11, looking to have dropped back a little bit there, so I'm not too sure what's happened to him. Jiggle P12, he's just doing his own thing, so we've only lost a single car so far. So 15 of the 16 starters going as Jody runs wide in P13. Nick quite far back now. I'm not sure what's happened to him. Just not having a good round at all. I mean, neither of these two were to say they started on the front row of the grid. So Jody goes through, followed by Nick in the McLaren. The McLaren not really looking that strong in terms of its pace, as N Feathers is actually beginning to try and close that gap up to the other pair. Obviously he's felt really far down in these early stages of the race. I believe he may have been caught up in all that accident. Peaky Blinder, he is on an absolute flyer, so it's looking like Feathers is going to have to let the leaders through soon, as Kaon is trying to chase him down, but he's absolutely dropping back lap by lap compared to the Toyota Supra, which is obviously leading the way. However, Kayan does have the fastest lap. Myself, I managed to close the gap up to Cowbub here. He is dropping back from the Ford GT, so it's still looking likely that we can get on the podium if we keep on pushing with this Chevy. Looking like Cowbub went a little bit wide there, but getting a decent run out of the corner as I'm trying to keep it on the inside line there. Dion, he is P5, pretty much doing his own thing. Nice showing for him. He didn't have a good round at Monza at all. Raddy, middle of the pack really. He's not doing too bad. He's again sort of on his own. He'll be looking to chase down Dion into the closing stages. Awesome livery on this thing, really kind of simplistic, but looks very nice. That looks like Vinny going a bit wide there. Jace again moving up, so he's now back up into P8, looking like he's going to try and chase Vinny down. And then over the next few laps. Archangel, he's dropped down a bit now. He's now P9. with Kefim just not having the best race at all, as it's looking like Jay Vanderberg is going to go through. He is also having a bit of a struggle this race. So the Supras again not looking the strongest at all, really kind of quick to fall down the order. McJiggle is P12 and Jody is P13 as she scrapes the barrier on the way down the main straight. That is a spin for Feathers, so I'm going to assume possibly maybe even the leader hit him there. Not quite sure. He's let the Ford GT through, so really not sure what happened there. I don't know if he spun on his own, and yeah, I mean, it's looking like I've got a move done there on Calgub, trying to get him on the inside, so I am up to P3 there. I've just noticed on the timing board, but Peaky Blinder leads the way by an absolute margin at this point. Really strong showing from him. Kayan P2, so he's performing very, very well. Myself P3, obviously getting past Calgub, so I'm finally back on the podium so far. Can I manage to hold out until the end of the race? That Porsche very quick in a straight line, so it's going to be all about the slower corners where I can really kind of, you know, start making some time up. It's got to be a mistake-free run from now on. Calgub dropping back a little bit as we go into that left-hander. Raddy is now up to P5, so Dion has dropped back somehow in that skyline. He's really quite far back now, so I'm not sure how he's lost all that time to Raddy and managed to drop back so far. Jace is now chasing him down as well, so he's really on a recovery drive. Same with Vinny, he's trying to get himself back up. He is P8, Archangel just following behind in P9. Jay Vanderberg is rounding out the top 10. He's not having the best of races, kind of just hanging around the back of the pack there, just kind of doing his own thing. McJiggle, he's now up to P11. He's past Kefim, so I don't know what's happened to Kefim's pace here. He had quite a strong start at Monza last time out, but then did drop back in the later stages, and it's looking like the same here as Jody slaps the wall again in P13. P14, we've got Feathers. He's looking like he's going to, we should really be letting that Porsche pass, but it's looking like he's going to give him a slipstream, so that's actually going to really benefit the Porsche down this straight. Obviously I'm running in clean air, I've got nobody to kind of give me a tow down the straight, so it's looking like he's towed him and then he's let him go. Yeah, so Feathers towing the Porsche down the straight, so Cal is going to get underway again. Peaky Blinder though still leading the way as we get into this final third of the race. Really strong performance from him. There's a yellow flag out somewhere and that is looking like a car off. That looks like the Toyota Supra. Yeah, so it's a Toyota Supra of Jody bringing a yellow flag out there. She's going to let him past. He's going to go past. She's just let him slide on through. Where is the Ford GT? I thought the Ford might be able to close the gap up there, but still quite far back. So Jody having a bit of a slip and letting the rest of the pack through. So Peaky Blinder still leading the way, followed by KN in second in the Ford GT. Looking unlikely he's going to manage to take the win here. However, he's still got very, very good pace, obviously with the fastest lap. Obviously the same with myself and Cal in third and fourth. Raddy is P5, pretty much on his own at this point. Really strong showing from him. That's definitely more like it. So he's definitely improved in the second half of this race. Dayon though, he is dropping back, and Jace is very, very close now in that BMW M6 as he has an awesome second half to this race. He's chasing down that skyline. Is he going to be able to get the move done? They both slap it into the barrier there. Jace, is he going to get the move done there? No, so Dayon does block him off. However, I'm expecting the BMW to have a better top speed. Yeah, it's looking like he's quite easily through there, isn't he? Oh no, Skyline is still battling. So it's still going on as they drag each other down to the line. Is Jace going to get the outside line? A little bit of a nudge there, so no, the Nissan really getting his elbows out there, a little bit dirty, a little bit annoyed, but it is what it is. Vinny, he's P8, he's being closely followed now by Archangel, so Archangel finding some pace in that Supra. Jay Vanderberg, he's again just kind of on his own, but he's being very closely followed by McJiggle, who has really started to find some pace to make up from those earlier accidents. Kefim, he's P12 now, really not a good show for him, but he did show really kind of promising signs early on. It's looking like Jody's still P13, followed by Feathers in P14. So we're on lap 12 now, and Peaky Blinder, well, he's pulling out a really big lead. He's really on a charge. You just got to kind of keep it clean, avoid any kind of incidents, and that should see him through to his win. Obviously, I believe a P2 last time out in Monza, so he's really having a strong show in these lobbies. Kayan, he is P2 still, myself P3, looking like I've gapped the Porsche behind me. Sorry, oh god, I've caught the grass there, and I've gone off and slammed into the barrier. Managed to keep it going, but that's going to allow Cal to really close up any time I've took away from him. So he's going to be on the back of me in pretty much no time, I'm going to assume. It's looking as if I've just got the back wheel caught on the grass there. And at that point, you're pretty much just a passenger. Raddy, he is doing quite well, to be honest. It's looking as if he's starting to close down some of these other cars, so really strong showing from him. Dion is under pressure again from Jace. Is Jace going to manage to get the move done? He's definitely in the faster of the two cars. He is through. So Jace now up to P6. Well done to him, but Dion will probably not let it. Yeah, there you go. So a bit of a dirty move there. So the Skyline taking that position back. A little bit scruffy of a move, but it is what it is. And then he's going to block Jace off, so Jace has got nowhere to go. I mean, that M6 is a huge car. As Vinny gets a little slide going out of the corner, he's in P8, so he's now joined the battle. He's going to be wanting to make some time up after the accident early on. Mick Jiggle now P9. He's past Jay Vanderberg. He's past Archangel, and he's really on a charge. Archangel nowhere to be seen, really. So Jay Vanderberg maintains P10 at this point in the race, and Archangel's now lost his position to Kefim. So Kefin's starting to find a bit of pace to overtake him. Oh, that's a little bit naughty, Archangel. But he is through. I'm going to assume Kefim's going to drag him all the way down the straight. He's going to get in that slipstream, so you've got equal machinery battling it out. It's Dragon Ball Z versus Tom's Castrol Supra. Which one's going to come on top? They are side by side still all the way down. One's going to have the inside, one's going to have the outside. And it's looking like Kefim's took it at this point. Archangel looking to fight it back on the inside line. He does get through, but Kefin's going to get the cut back, and he is going to move himself up into P11. Awesome move by Kefin there. Definitely a contender for overtake of the day. Jody still P13, struggling with this track very much so. Feathers even catching onto the back of her at this point, so he's, you know, kind of making a bit of time up to say he's been back there this whole time. Peaky Blind, he's sliding through the corners at this point, lap 14 out of 15, as he's really just dominated this race from start to finish. You know, really from early on, from about lap 3, he's just pulled away. We've got another yellow flag out there. Can't quite see what that one's for. I'm trying to look around. It's not for myself, so someone's gone off. Maybe Archangel. He's all of a sudden there, so I'm not really sure what that was for. I'm going to say it was probably for Archangel there, because he's just appeared from nowhere. So Kayan's going to have to do a little bit more of lapping, and he's lost a bit of time there as they go through. Myself, I've maintained my P3, so really happy with that. Cowgup just dropping off in his later stages, but awesome race from him in the Porsche. Probably would have expected better of himself, considering the pace of the Porsche, but definitely a worthy contender. I had a great race with him. Jace now up to P5, so Raddy somewhere, after maintaining such a big gap, has dropped back, and it's also, look, yeah, Vinny Bear's now starting to get on the back of Raddy, so something's definitely happened to Raddy. We'll have to try and find that one out in the highlights. I'm not really sure what he's done, but he's really he was kind of on his own race, so that's a bit of late drama. He's going to be really angry about that one, the Saudi Arabia. So Jace again up into P5, so another strong showing from him, even after being all the way back. He's really found some pace in these later stages as Dayon continues to drop back, now P8. Mick Jiggle, he is P9. He's managed to find a bit of pace, but just not enough to get himself back on that bigger mid-pack. As Jay Vandenberg, he's P10, Kefim P11, Archangel, then Feathers P13. He's now overtook Jody, so Jody just not having the best races at all. As Peaky Blinder takes the win at Blue Moon Speedway. Awesome race for him. It was only a matter of time before he won one. Kayan, sadly P2. I'm expecting him to win one in the future, so well done to him. Another good podium. Myself, I'm going to manage to take P3 in the Corvette, finally recovering from the early on collision, then having my own little off, managing to get on the podium. I'm happy with that. Calgub P4 in the Red Bull livery Porsche, and just back a bit. Well, we've got Jace. He's got a few more corners to go as he's chased by Raddy, but it's looking like Feathers has held him up a little bit there. So it must be Jace that's going to take the P5 as he comes around the last corner, and it's all the way down to the finish. So it's going to be P5 for Jace. Well done to him. Awesome recovery driving this second half of the race. Nice to see the M6 up there. Raddy P6. Vinny Bear P7, not too bad to say he had that off. Decent recovery for him, slap bang in the middle of the finishers. McJiggle, he's going to get P8, so well done to him. Decent recovery for himself in the Haas livery to BRZ. Dion P9, Vanderberg P10, Kevin P11, Archangel P12, Feathers 13, and Jody 14. So our first highlight of the race, this is going to be on board McJiggle. It's looking as though the Carnage just absolutely popped off for everybody. A bunch of cars getting caught up, some managing to get through and get quite lucky. Looking like Feathers just in the barrier there. McJiggle really far back at this point. And yeah, really not good. So this is on board Jody. It's looking as if Nick just braked there. Vinny's gone into the back of him. Jody's gone into the back of Vinny, and it's all just kind of, you know, started from there. I think a few people did have their own off. So Nick very slow through that corner. Let's have a look from Vinny's perspective. So yeah, very slow. He goes into the back, and then Jody goes into the back of him, and he just starts a whole absolute cluster of cars spinning left, right and centre, and then he's going to have another spin after that. This is on board myself. As you can see, I'm going to manage to get caught up in it somehow. That's Kefim, that's his super getting thrown at me, and then I'm going to get a nudge, and into the barrier we go. Are we going to manage to get the car going again? We did eventually. So this is on board one of these supers, I believe. This is Archangel having his own little off, just getting involved in the accident. You can see Raddy's off there, Kefim's off there, Jace off there, Vinny Bear off there. So a bunch of cars really struggling. So this is from Nick's perspective. This is when he basically lost all his positions. Peaky Blinder going through. He's going to give a nudge to Peaky Blinder. He's then going to get nudged by Kian, and it's just dropping him back and back, as well as Jody going off there. Dion is then going to look to try and make a move on the McLaren. So disappointing for Nick there. Calgub, he is having a moment here, and you're going to see what's going to happen. Ocho goes to the outside. He's going to hit the barrier, come straight out, hit Calgub. He's going to manage to rescue that. So really well done to him in the Porsche. So thank you so much for watching this video. Really had an awesome time just getting the footage. Don't forget that I do open lobbies, so keep an eye out in the community tab. I will post. It's going to hopefully be at least once a week. So I hope to meet more of you there. Thank you so much to the people that returned for the second lobby. Yeah, cannot wait. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace. See you later.